Hi, this is Johanna and I'm back today with another video for the LOA stamps. And I'm using two stamp sets today. I'm using Castaway and I'm also using Cake Day. And I'm starting out with my card front and I'm taping it down to a slick surface because I'm going to do some inking. And the card base is a standard size A2 card. And I just use Post-it tape to hold down my stencil. And I'm using Distress ink to ink up to create the background. And I'm using two shades and I'm starting out with Salty Ocean. And I want to create a kind of ombre effect. So in the right bottom corner I would like it to be a little bit darker, and then I just fade it upwards. And then I'm also using just a little bit of peacock feathers. So I want the background to be blue, but I want it to have some variation, so that's why I'm using peacock feathers. And then it's time to lift up my stencil. And it looks good, so I'm happy with the result. So I just put my card away so it can dry, and now we start to work on my critters. And I'm using this seal from the Castaway stamp set, and then I'm also using 3 balloons, and these balloons are from Cake Day. And now it's time to color everything in, and I'm using Copic markers to do that, and that's why I use Memento ink. I think this is the best ink if you are doing some coloring with Copics. And I try here to mimic the background shading, so with the ombre effect I did the darkest in the right bottom corner, so it looks like the light is from the upper left corner. So that's what I'm doing with my images here as well. So I'm doing that with the seal and also with the balloons, so it looks they will be the darkest in the right bottom corner, and then they will fade to the lightest in the left upper corner. And then it's time to cut the images out, and I'm cutting just by the black border, by the stamped border. And here I'm just using a black brush tip marker to paint the edges of my cut out images, because then it will look like I cut him out perfectly and it will give him a really finished look. And I went ahead and did the same to the hearts as well. And then I'm deciding I want a vellum circle, so I'm using my favorite things dies, and this one has a pierced edge. And I'm just cutting it out from vellum, and here I'm planning out my card. And here I also realize I don't like that vellum piece, so I'm going to have to figure out something else. But in the meantime I'm stamping my sentiment, and I'm using the sentiment from Cake Day. And this stamp set has so many cute sentiments, I just love them all. And I'm stamping my sentiment in VersaFine. And I'm stamping it on some Neenah Solar White, so it's the same cardstock as I used for the card base. And I wanted to mat this on a piece of blue cardstock, but I didn't have any that matched, so I'm just creating my own using a white piece of cardstock and my Distress ink, the same ones that I used to create my background. And I love doing this to white cardstock, because then you have a cardstock that matches perfectly, and especially when you inked up the background, as I did, this will match. This is spot on, the color spot on, and I love that. And here I'm just planning out my card, and I also cut a piece of white circle. Just using the same die as I did when I cut out the vellum piece, but I think the white looks so much better, so I'm sticking to white. And then I'm just cutting a banner shape out of the sentiment strip. And I'm also cutting a banner out of the piece that I colored myself. And then it's time to adhere everything together, and I'm using my two-way seal glue pen to adhere the seal to my die cut circle. And this is a really good glue. It holds on really good and it dries pretty quick. So you just have to press down for a couple of seconds. And then I use my ATG gun to adhere the circle to the card base. So I just press that on there. And now it's time to adhere the two sentiment pieces together. And I think it's really cute when his paw is, it looks like his paw is holding on to the sentiment strips. So that's how I'm going to adhere the sentiment. And I use my ATG again. And I just tuck it under his paw. And now it's time to adhere the little balloon hearts. So I'm just deciding where I want them, and then I use a pencil to make marks, so I know where I should draw the balloon strings. And then I just draw in my balloon strings with my pencil. And then I draw them in using a Copic multiliner, but you can use any black tip marker here. It doesn't have to be Copic multiliner, but that was just what I had out on my desk, so that's why I'm using this one. And then I'm just removing my pencil lines with an eraser. And I missed a spot, so I'm just going back with my Copic multiliner. And now it's time to adhere the small cute hearts. So I'm just using my two-way seal glue pen again. So I'm just putting them in place and just adhering them. And then I just used my We Are Memory Keepers corner jumper to round the bottom edges. And I used a 1/2 inch punch. And just to finish everything off, I had to use my Wink of Stella. I use this all the time. I think I'm addicted to mine. If you have a Wink of Stella, you probably know what I mean. And if you don't have one, I strongly recommend you getting one because I love mine. So I'm just putting some Wink of Stella on the balloons and also onto the seal. And then I'm just using my white gel pen to add some highlights to the balloons, and then the card is done. So I hope that you like this video and that you got inspired to create something yourself. So thank you so much for spending some time with me, and I see you guys next Thursday. Take care. Bye.